You're anti-trans.
See what my gal Amethysta is saying about TDOR.
Hi, kitty cats. Today is November 20th, 2024, Transgender Day of Remembrance. Today is when we, in the transgender community, honor those whose lives were cut short by violence this year.
People who commit in the middle are too hard to monetize. Ideologues and technocrats know what they're doing. Hey, well, that's why you just gotta forcefully insert yourself into places. That's what I'm doing. I have to spam fucking YouTube with as much content as possible and repeat points often. I'll do that because I am forcing myself into the space, whether people want me to or not.
Easy to gloss over a list of 448 names in 2024 as people you just didn't know and now will never know. So
have I ever made through a whole Kiwi video? Probably not. I can't remember.
This year I honor my fallen brothers, siblings, and sisters by telling you a bit about my experience. Because you have to look in my face. You have to hear my voice. You cannot gloss over me.
I could skip right to the end of this video. Hey look, I just did it. I glossed over her. Nah, I'm being mean. Let's hear Amethysta out.
Not gloss over me.
Listen. She's actually kinda considerate, is Amethysta. You know why? Because this video isn't fucking 50 minutes long. It's amazing.
So in 2024, I completed my gender transition.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. I have a bit of a cough, and I think talking is just, it's beginning to rub my throat the wrong way. Everyone refuses to read. I don't know, she, I don't know that I think that Aaron Reed is gonna age particularly well. I'll be honest, like, Amethyst looks alright. Like, I'd see a woman. I don't know how attractive I'd find said woman, but I'd see a woman if I saw her just on the street or something, for sure.
Transition. I have all I ever wanted for the rest of my life. Also, for the rest of my life, I must fear people. I must fear being...
You don't have to at all. Let's be honest, most of the trans people that die, they're like sex workers. They're often in places in South America and stuff. And it sucks. No one should be dying, you know, but unfortunately people do. This person wants to make it about herself. I think it's a bit gross. I think it's a bit inappropriate myself.
Being hurt for who I am. I must fear my family and friends being hurt for their association with me.
It's like, what's actually happened? She's been trans for a year or two. I've been trans for almost 10 years. My family's not been hurt for me being trans. I've not been hurt for being trans. Generally, when I've been more out in the world and working and stuff, people have accepted me and not treated me like shit because I'm trans. Having the odd idiot in a fucking van scream pedo at me as they drive by means nothing to me because that person is such a fucking pussy. They had to do that from a moving vehicle, moving away from me. I'm not interested in any of the opinions in someone that's that much of a pussy.
The happiness of gender transition is stained with sorrow, and I have the rest of my life to look forward to. Will that be a time full of joy, celebrating my success and feeling love from my family and friends?
Well, yeah, if you spend time around them, if you spend time around the things you love and not panicking about every tiny thing that seems adverse.
Or will that be a time full of agony, dodging the hate heaped upon me, feeling fear that being who I am puts me, my family, and my friends in danger?
I get hate for being who I am. So, hey, it doesn't matter what you do, it turns out.
I didn't have a choice in whether I transition gender. It was either transition or die. And now...
We're reinforcing some rather toxic shit there. You shouldn't be talking about it that way. I don't think that's cool.
When I've achieved deep in my soul happiness, I may still die at another's hand. The choice each of us...
Is this really likely? Like I said, I've been trans for almost 10 years. I don't get trouble from people. And when I do, it's people shouting shit at the back of my head or people shouting shit from moving vehicles that are going away from me. I just don't give a fuck about that. I don't care about anyone's opinion who's like that.
And the transgender community faces is a false dichotomy. We can live with a sanction of society, yet hate ourselves and our lives, or we can love who we are.
This isn't true at all. I didn't have many problems integrating into society because I'm trans. I've had problems integrating to society because I'm extremely mentally ill. There was someone else at my last long-term job that I was at for almost 5 years. There was another trans woman that worked in my office for a couple of years. She was friends with fucking everyone because she's just one of those like gregarious, like outgoing people that's like super friendly. And like, that's just how it is. People don't really give a fuck in general. Yes, like the stream, please. Even though I'm finishing soon because I'm not feeling well. But yeah, like, being trans does not doom you to this kind of thing. She's not right with this. And she hasn't been trans long enough to understand this. And I don't know what work she does. I don't know how much time she spends around normal people. Like, it's just preposterous. We don't have to put ourselves out there as being this massive victims. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there hasn't been a single murder because a person was trans in the West for at least a decade. There hasn't been many. I think there was one or two examples that probably could have been like proven that way. But they have to have colored hair to join the club. Like, what the fuck? Maybe that's why all other trans people hate me, because I don't have colored hair. Maybe that's it.
Face a bright future, yet live among a society that hates us.
Society does not hate trans people. I can see why this person is committed to treating it that way, because we have to make it seem worse. Otherwise, where's our cause? I didn't have a cause for a long time because I just lived my life and I was doing okay, but I guess I do now. And it's debunking this kind of thing.
To hate myself or be a target.
Dickheads yelling at you will get theirs. Yeah, true. The thing about mouthing off at people is that eventually you will mouth off at the wrong person and they will fuck you up.
Target for hate. My crime against society has been to find my joy.
Like, my crime against society. This person is out of touch.
My joy, your hate. If you hear these words, if you felt hate, if you felt fear, you know.
The hate that I feel generally is from like woke people.
What I face, don't turn away from me, or you sentence me to death.
That is insane. Hi, Lorixal. I've never had an issue being trans. The odd former co-worker would make fun of it because we had that humorous repertoire, but nothing that malicious. Everyone else was live and let live. Yeah. Like, everywhere I've worked, like when I worked in Weatherspoons, I definitely get some shit for being trans. And I was new in my transition. I was working on bar. Obviously, you've got alcohol as well as all the other shit. Yeah, I'd get the odd, like, weird comment. I'd get the odd person just openly taking the piss out of me. To be honest, it's toughened me up. It made me realize that this hate that people experience, that this people express towards me is benign. I realized people can say whatever the fuck they want to me, and it doesn't actually matter. If someone wants to call me a tranny, they can just call me a tranny, because I just don't care. Like, life just isn't how this person is saying it is. No one's sentencing anyone to death. The fact that I don't like these person's videos in general, that doesn't mean that I'm turning my back on her and sentencing her to death. It means I disagree. What I hate is that teens are hearing the fearmongering and echoing it like drunk parrots. Yep, this person is responsible for that as much as anyone else. And I wish these people would understand this. People keep watching my stream 161. Thank you so much. Listen, please like the stream. I don't know how much longer I'm going. It was just banter. Yeah. Most like older men and stuff, like plenty of them are just like a person with purple hair who don't like attention from strangers. Jesus. Let's not even begin to unwrap that one, because I don't fucking know.
Stand with me and stand on the side of justice.
What she doesn't understand is that's exactly where I'm at. And she actually needs to join me there. Because it's not justice to play up your issues as if they're worse than they are. It's not justice that South American trans prostitutes keep dying, and then white American people who face nowhere near the same level of violence are constantly like co-opting it. It's actually quite gross. It's a bit racist in a way. Like, I understand being white and from a first world country, you probably don't have that many problems on average. That doesn't mean you need to invent them. That doesn't mean you need to lie about society and invoke harm that is not there in order to fit in, you know? Oh, hi, Amber Primo. Yeah, I like the stream. I don't know how much longer I'm going because my voice is like dying, but the number keeps going up, so it's like, fuck. Sky did a video on Trans Day of Remembrance. That's nice. We should do any more short videos. Let's maybe try and eke out a short segment while the iron is hot, you know? While people are busy liking the stream. Have you liked the stream yet? You should consider liking the stream. I think I missed the start of your... To give an example, in my country, there is a new podcast made of 3 of the wokest people I've ever seen. They made a video making the tier list of the worst YouTubers, and I got to one of them who was black. One of them straight up went, "You're a class traitor for being black and not having our own opinions." Yep, that is exactly what I experienced being trans. And that attitude is racist as fuck towards those black people. It's transphobic as fuck towards someone like me. What are the top 5 myths?
Myth number 5. Gender.
What are the top myths? She kind of ruined it for me. She's going to say a lot of stuff that I don't agree with. They lie about people's deaths to put a narrative, and I can't help but feel disgusted about that. Yeah, I mean, there's deaths that happen, and they act like they're at the same level of risk to them because they're also trans. When a lot of these people that are dying, they're like sex workers. They're in countries that are not very much like this kind of place. Because, I mean, people were using that Brianna Jai murder. She wasn't murdered for being trans as far as I know. And it's pretty disgusting to make things up about it, but we're going to do it anyway. Someone committed suicide. They were saying a non-binary girl was murdered for being non-binary. Yeah, it's disgusting. I don't see why we need to lie about anything, quite frankly. If we're the good guys, why are we lying so much?
Hi, kitty cats. Think you know all about the transgender experience? Well, stay tuned, because you just might be surprised by my top 5 myths about being transgender.
Yeah, they know these things, but, you know, that doesn't have to matter. Honesty is, like, rare these days, I guess. It probably always has been.
Myth number 5. Gender dysphoria is a mental disorder. Although gender dysphoria is found in the current Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or DSM-5, psychologists characterize a mental disorder as a pattern of cognition or behavior that results in significant distress or impairment.
Mate, gender dysphoria is something that people are always reporting as giving them significant distress. How have you managed to fuck your own point up immediately?
Impairment of normal function in daily life. But impairment of daily life depends on the person experiencing the pattern of cognition or behavior. For instance, alcohol dependence is also found in DSM-5, and many people remain highly functional alcoholics their whole lives.
Yep, hey kitty cats. I think she's like 52 or something.
Similarly, many transgender people, including me, take decades before gender dysphoria causes enough distress that we must do something about it.
Is that how it works? I don't believe her. It's possible that I'm wrong, but I don't believe her personally.
That doesn't mean we don't feel the distress. We just become very good at masking it as highly functional gender dysphorics.
High functioning gender dysphorics. That was nonsense. What else?
Myth number 4. Gender dysphoria only happens to transgender people.
I mean, I would grant this one, sure. I don't know who's saying that, but...
The distress from gender dysphoria is the result of failing to fulfill social expectations around gender characteristics. That is, society expects us to conform to its expectations.
Is it that society expects you to conform? Or do you think that society wants you to conform? And that's why you have these beliefs?
Of masculinity and femininity.
Yeah, happy, healthy, well-functioning alcoholic. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think I want to know no more. Been on this turf train so long and learned way too much about this fetish. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
And we can't do it without feeling discomfort. For example, a transgender man may hate being forced to wear a dress on formal occasions. A transgender woman
Yeah, because sex is all about clothes.
may hate wearing a suit and tie. But every human born faces social expectations based on the sex assigned to us at birth. And every human places different...
I don't get this. I feel like what I thought society expected from me and what society actually expects from me, if anything, were 2 very different things. And I think it's probably the same as this person.
emphasis on gender characteristics, both masculine and feminine. Each of us dislikes at least one aspect of social norms, and all of us have to perform in ways we don't like occasionally. What we feel in those occasions is an acute bout of gender dysphoria, at least until we get to stop conforming to social norms.
I don't think any of this person's ideas hold water, but hey, maybe.
Myth number 3. Transgender people become transgender suddenly.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Some transgender people, including me, knew our gender from a very early age, as young as 4 or 5 years old. We know we will pursue gender transition.
Yeah, this person knew they would transition and just waited until 50 for whatever reason.
Someday, although we don't know when.
This must be a sore spot. She really milks the fuck out of this whole, I knew I was a girl since I was 4, but I didn't transition until ages later. She really makes a meal out of this one. Oh, thank you so much, Petunia. I'll see you soon.
Very few transgender people are entirely unconscious of their sense of gender dysphoria, but many of us ignore those feelings as we attempt to conform to social norms.
I feel what you're saying, Lorexal. I mean, to me, it was much more of a personal thing. It really didn't have to do with other people or community or ideology or anything. And I was kind of shocked at how much people are like this when I started trying to like socialize with trans people online.
At some point, the sense of gender dysphoria builds as we become more and more aware of it and ourselves. And when we suddenly recognize there is a word to explain who we are and why we feel the way.
Yeah, there's suddenly a word. At no point sooner than this could this person have been like, I wish I'd been born a girl instead of a boy. This is a bullshit point. I do not think that this holds any water.
We do. The experience is so profound, we gave it a special name, the egg crack. But, contrary to popular opinions, exploring gender is...
That's a meme. That's not a fucking...
Myth number 5.
That's the egg cracking thing. It's a meme. What the fuck? Yeah. There's a real sore spot for her. She knew she was a girl until she was 4 and, like, started at 50. She really, really goes to lengths to, like, justify that. It's crazy. Most people hate us. That isn't true, Marxist heathen granny. Society doesn't hate us. There are people out there that do, for sure, and fuck those people. That's the way I see it. Do you like work? Do you go out and spend a lot of time around people?
And ourselves. And when we suddenly recognize there is a word to explain who we are and why we feel the way we do, the experience is so profound, we gave it a special name, the egg crack. But, contrary to popular opinions, exploring gender is very different from being transgender, and it is a typical human experience even cisgender people do. Myth number 2. You aren't a real transgender person unless you get surgery. Being transgender is characterized by chronic...
Your perspective is not from having these online interactions. Yeah, fair enough.
Gender dysphoria, a persistent sense of discomfort in gender identity. Unless and until the discomfort impairs normal function in daily life, some transgender people may never take action. But just as every human likes and dislikes aspects of social norms...
How can you say gender dysphoria is super debilitating, consumes your life, but it's not a mental disorder? I think it's cope, to be honest. I think this person doesn't want the stigma of being mentally ill, but is mentally ill. Whereas for someone like me, I don't give a fuck if someone sees gender dysphoria as a mental illness, because I just have way worse mental illnesses than gender dysphoria. So I just don't really give a fuck much about it. Hate what teas do, stay out of female sports and spaces, and stop trying to change laws and indoctrinating kids. Hey, listen, that's pretty much my thing as well.
Some transgender people need very little change in expression to soothe their persistent discomfort. For some transgender people, this may be wearing...
persistent discomfort, but it's not a mental illness.
Toenail polish hidden inside our shoes, cutting our hair in the summer, or expressing ourselves consistently in a gender-fluid manner. You don't have to start hormone replacement therapy, change your name, dye your hair blue, or schedule gender-affirming surgery. You don't have to start hormone replacement therapy, change your name, dye your hair blue, or schedule gender-affirming surgery to know that, yes, you are trans enough.
Gender dysphoria is from demons is not like a medical thing. Okay, hi, Wisdom of Solomon. I do apologize, I got your name wrong.
Myth number 1. Being transgender means transitioning gender. Being transgender is about chronic gender dysphoria, not how you dress or style your hair.
Oh, transmed. We got a transmed alert. Dylan Mulvaney. I don't know. She has that kind of college, what do they call them? Like theater kids? Oh, hi, Max Doherty. What do they call them? Theater kids? She has that kind of vibe, like American theater kids. Yeah, transmed point. She's a transmed. There we go.
Hair, And for many of us, gender transition is simply too difficult or too expensive to undertake. The social aspect of gender transition is a long, arduous, and socially awkward phase that sometimes presents enough of a psychological barrier in itself. The medical aspect of gender transition requires appropriate medical professionals who are willing to help. Finding a doctor able to prescribe hormone replacement therapy and monitor it closely may be impossible in your area. And gender-affirming surgery, or surgeries, can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to accomplish. Candidly, gender transition is a privilege many of us will never experience. We are transgender, and we express what we can, but not being able to afford gender transition does not diminish the sense of chronic gender dysphoria we all experience. And there they are, my top 5 myths about being transgender. If you liked this content, I highly recommend watching my gender education.
There we go. Aren't you so educated now? Aren't you so educated that someone who's been trans for about 10 months has told you all those things? You look back at the footage, it was always attention hungry. He does give off that vibe for sure. Fucking hell, listen, I need to stop. My voice is like going. Like rapidly going. But listen, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. The numbers have been going up a bit recently, and it's great to see. This is a lot more than I really expected. I was just putting my thoughts and feelings out, and expressing my frustrations, having had the experiences that I've had with like trans communities and stuff, other trans people. So I really appreciate all of you.